All right, welcome to the latest and the greatest episode of Train of Thought. Chugga chugga, love you, love you. I am your host, I'm your conductor, Alex Dumas, and today is a very special kind of different episode because this wasn't necessarily planned, it wasn't a scheduled recording or conversation that was intended to be for the show. This is with one of my clients, and we had a really powerful conversation, and we came up with some interesting distinctions around marks, question mark, check mark. So you're going to see that in this episode. And she was gracious enough to give permission to share this, as you know, she's revealing some things about her family, some personal stuff, and it's not always easy. So I want to just salute her for her bravery and just being allowing me to express that and share that with the world in the hopes that it serves and helps somebody else. So you get to be a fly on this coaching wall. I'm not in my usual location right now. I'm enjoying time with family. So this is not a live recording, but you'll be able to watch this, you'll be able to get some nuggets from it, you'll be able to find something about it, about yourself in these words. So I invite you to have that lens. Look at this as if it were you in that chair, whether it's you're trying to see it through my eyes of like, oh, what question would I ask as a coach, or what would be interesting for me? And then your eyes as the client, like, how would I respond here, or what would come up for me? And how can I apply this to my life? And that's always been the goal of this show, of just exploring different thoughts, exploring different opportunities that are in our makeup, and we get to express them how we want. So that's the opportunity for you. That's the possibility for you. And if this is something that you find valuable, something that makes a difference for you, come share with me. I would love to hear from you, whether it's in the comments. You can email me directly, alex@abundancedaily.com. Or if there's somebody that you know that, hey, having a conversation with Alex might make a difference for them, it may serve them in some capacity, I would love to get in contact with them. They can introduce them to me, whatever that looks like for you. So that's the premise. That's the setup for the show. So we're gonna get into it now. I want to thank you first and foremost for being a part of this. This is an experience, and let's get on this train. All aboard!
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
All right, doing fantastic. How are you?
Good. I've woken up and it's still a lovely stormy day here in Taranaki. The weather that we're having what they're classing as like a weather bomb over our country at the moment. And some parts of the country in 24 hours have had like 400 and 500 mils of rain. It's
Oh,
just tipping down. Um, but that's okay. There's a reason why you live in Taranaki. Volcanic soil, which absorbs the water really well, and
right.
we've got a lot of hills and undulating ground, so it all runs away. Unfortunately, a whole lot of people in New Zealand don't live in Taranaki, so there's lots of
Ah,
flooding here, and rivers are high, and it's like, you know what? That's just Mother Nature just saying, "Hey, I'm here, letting you know I'm around."
yeah. Just a friendly reminder of
Uh-huh.
where we are in the world and what our role is.
Exactly. When we think we're in charge, just go stand outside on a day like today. No, we're not. Oh, dear. Go
Fantastic.
ahead.
But outside of that, everything good? Everything all right on your end?
Yeah, it's been a good couple. Well, actually, is it a couple of weeks since we spoke? I think it is, isn't it?
Yeah. And there's no
Yeah.
real format to my calls, but I do like to start off everyone with celebrations, just looking at like what's gone well, since the last time we spoke. So anything that you want to share, like want to celebrate with you.
Yeah, something just like really tiny because, we sort of talked last time about, just do it, don't
Hmm.
hold back, don't think about going for that walk.
Yeah, I love the
It's
pictures. It was great.
Oh no, but it was funny. I think it was last weekend. I was having one of those days where I'm like, oh, I didn't have anything on the day that I had to do. There was
Right.
lots of things I could do, and normally I'd just fluff from one thing to another to another. I'm like, you know what, just do one thing. Take
Mm.
5 minutes. And I logged, actually it was Sunday, because I logged onto my computer and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to do one of my training sessions of John. So I did that. And then
Okay.
that led to me doing my birthday invites for the week, which then led to me doing my, LinkedIn 5 connections for the week. And, 2 hours later, it wasn't that much time. I'm like, man, I've just smashed a whole lot of stuff out that I would normally do over the next 2 days.
Yeah.
I'm like, sweet. So I rang my girlfriend. I'm like, what are you doing? She goes, not much. I said, come on, let's go for a drive. I'll go for coffee. Went out for lunch, went to the plant shop. And it was just like, you know what? I just got so much done today and nothing was hard. Nothing felt like,
Mm.
yeah, it just felt great. So yeah, that's what I'm celebrating is.
Well, that is far from a small thing,
I
right?
know,
That's
not getting caught in my head.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's huge. Yeah, especially when you condense things and like I always talk about this, like really focused energy, like focused time, energy, and attention to something, and you'd be surprised at what you can get done and who you get to be
Mm.
in that moment.
Yeah, you just get in the flow. And I don't have to be anyone, but turns out that I was this, super confident,
Mm.
get shit done, happy person. And it's like, I like that person. And I like how she shows up. So she can show up a little bit more.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be funny
Mm.
to play with. But
Mm.
in this context, I'm curious as far as what's in your mind for today. Like, what can I serve or support you best with?
Well, it's interesting because, like on yesterday's immersion call, John asked me a really good question. I can't remember. I'd have to look at my notes to see what it was, but I answered it, and then we moved on to different topics. How he
Hmm.
does, and I was sitting there, and I'm like, no, that's not it. There's actually more there. So it was
Mm.
quite good. So when we went into the breakout groups for coaching, there was like Bobby and actually who else was there? Bobby, Laura, and Angie. And I said to him, oh, please coach me, because it turns out I've got something else that's come up.
Hmm.
So we sort of walked through that. And it was interesting because Bobby and I were just chatting at the end of it. And what we realized is, sometimes the complication or the complexity of what we're doing in our life is what we need to do to get to the other side. So then it does become easy, because
Mm.
sometimes complexity is just learning. And I've been thinking about that all night and like yesterday at work and stuff. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to talk about that. And then I woke up this morning and I'm like, nope, we're not talking about that. And it's almost carrying on what we were talking about, is letting go of the stuff that's holding me back from taking a step. But what's happening this week is, I suppose for a little bit of context, my sister and I, growing up, we were always in competition with each other. There was an interesting childhood dynamic going on in the family. She felt like she had to mother us all. And I'm like, I don't need fucking mothering from you. It's like, oh, all good. And we got really close through our teenage years. And then we blew apart for a while. Then we came together,
Yeah.
besties again. And then, in the last probably 5 years, we've blown apart again, to
Mm.
the point where it's almost like we're back in competition with each other again, with our jobs, with our homes, with our relationships. And it's just like, I'm fucking over it. And so in the last, because of what's been going on in the world in the last couple of years, we both have very different opinions on it. Because she's a nurse, she's very pro our government, everything they're doing is perfect. And I'm
Mm.
like, crap shit, this is just bullshit what's going on. And, we've clashed a lot on it. And we got to the point where I said, you know what, we've just got to agree to disagree here. You're my
Mm.
sister, I love you. I don't have to love your choices and everything else, but can you please respect me and mine? And we'd come to a bit of a truce.
Yeah.
Her son's moved up to the same area where I live, because normally she's a fair way away. Turns out she's visiting this week and hasn't even told me she's going to be in the area.
Mm.
And I'm just like, fuck, here we go, we're playing the games again and
Mm.
everything else. and I just want to let it go. But it reminds me of, you know, like now that I'm back in the workplace as well, there's some of those people that you see that I'm like, I don't really like you. And it's like, well, hold on, that's my problem. I need to just let that go. It doesn't matter whether I like them or they like me. I've got a job to do. And if we need to work, I don't need to actually work with these people. I just see them. And it's just that whole, it's almost like letting go of the relationships that, you know, I just get caught up in my head on it, you know, and then I tell myself stories and then I make a big deal out of nothing. You know, it's like, just go for the goddamn walk and just get over it. Because, you know, it's like, have the conversation with my sister. Don't make it drama. Just let it go. And it's not that she's won. It's I'm winning by being the bigger person. I've got to get past that little hump of just be a good person, and just maybe I should be reaching out to her. Who knows? So I don't know if you got any sense out of all that.
No, I mean it's definitely interesting with family. So first, I want to just thank you for sharing that. Right, it's not always easy to relate something so personal, like especially when it's someone so close. You know, a sister, a sibling. That's it's a very different relationship. Yeah. My first thought was, what does the competition mean to you with her? Like, what is it? Like, what has been your experience of it, like through all these years?
Yeah, it's funny because it's almost like I was the rebellious child a little wee bit, you know, and just went and did my thing. And I was a little bit lost in life, you know, in my late teens and early 20s. But I had my children very young. You know, I was 20 when I had my eldest daughter, 23 with my next daughter. I probably didn't have some of the most loving relationships through that time, you know, with partners and stuff. And then I did end up marrying a really lovely man. Like, you know, we've since divorced, but that's all good. And then my career took off, you know, and, you know, I've got my master's, you know, I've got all this. And I'd always think, oh, here's my sister. Yeah, she went the career route first, became this wonderful nurse, and then got married, and then had her babies, married, you know, drunk basically. And then she ended up getting divorced. But it was almost like every time I would step up in my career, she would then. And then my ex-husband and I bought this lovely big 2-story home. And then within a year, she had a big 2-story home. It's always like everything I've done within 12 months, she's done it as well. And I'm just like, are we like subconsciously still trying to be top dog, you know, together? And, you know, she's now in a relationship with a person, because she's divorced, in a relationship with a person that's not been very, how would I put it? He has pushed his insecurities into all of us, which has basically driven a wedge between my sister and everybody else in the family. And, you know, it's just not good. But, you know, that's created, you know, family dynamics. Like my dad, who just loves everybody and will do anything for anyone, he doesn't even like going and visiting there. And like my dad never had a bad word about anybody, you know. If you say to my dad, oh, what do you think of Bob? And he'll just be like, oh, yeah, I know Bob. And if he says something like that, it's like, he doesn't really that person, you know. Whereas I'd be like, oh, my God, the guy's an asshole, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, and it's just like, I don't know, why am I making such a big deal about it? Because interestingly enough, my auntie, so my dad's sister, she's not much older than us, because my dad is like this, you know, about 18 years difference between him and his younger sibling. So growing up, she was more like an older sister. And similar thing, you know, we were all really close. I had my children young. Everybody, you know, judged me on it. So I rebelled against everybody. But her and I have, like, in the last 5 or 6 years, probably actually 7 or 8 years, we've gone back to how we were, and we've got this amazing relationship again. You know, it's like two sisters again, almost. You know, I get with my auntie, which I'd love to get with my sister. And I don't know, I feel like I need to forgive myself for everything that I feel about my sister and just let it go. That she's battling her own things in life, and okay, if she wants to keep competing, hey, she can. I'm happy where I am because I know she's going to come and see my new house. Hopefully she'll come visit me this weekend while she's in town. Actually, she will, because I'm going to be the bigger person and bloody reach out to her and say, hey, here you're in town. She's, I don't know, it's funny. It's almost like every time I let her in, I feel like I'm on eggshells because I'm just waiting for the next judgment to come up. And I'm fucking over being judged in my life. And it's like, the similar people at work. I'm just over the fucking judgment. I can't be bothered wasting time and energy on it, because I'm enjoying my life right now. And it's heading in it's in a good direction, and it's heading in a better direction. And I'm just giving energy to something that I really don't want to. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't intend to just go on.
No, it's fine. This is your time. This is what we've created together for you to sort this out and process and work it out.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny, I can see, like, we talk about this in the coaching community, as soon as you talk it out, it like reflects back and you can hear it back. And then when it is reflected back, you're like, God damn, really? Come on. Is that it? Yeah.
Well, that's why I honor you for that, right? To reveal, right? To reveal what you may judge or feel about somebody else is usually a mirror about what we're feeling about ourselves in some capacity. So when you said that, oh yeah, maybe this is an opportunity for you to forgive yourself in order to forgive her, and also catching the many subliminal judgments. You may not catch it, but something as simple as, oh, I'm going to be the bigger person. Well, that means she has to be a smaller person. Yeah. It's competition again.
Yes. Yeah.
What if there's an opportunity of, oh, she's in town this weekend, I'd love to have her over. And I'll send her an invitation. Not about me being right, wrong, good, bad. I'd love to see her and rebuild this relationship. If that's what you want to do.
Yeah. And as soon as you say that, it's like, yeah, it's not a big deal. It's just reach out, say hi. And because I know she'll come. And I know it's almost like when we do decide to agree to disagree, it's almost like we both feel relieved, because it's like, because the thing is, we're very similar. We're very similar in our personalities, so that's always like, that creates the clash.
Yeah.
I always say to my dad, God damn it, Dad, you raised two very strong-willed women. You, my sister, what the hell's going on here? Why'd you do that? But then, because there's only the three of us, and then there's my brother as well.
Right.
And the irony is my brother and sister live in the same town. They hardly see each other for the exact same reason. And I've always said to my sister-in-law, just let it go, man. I'm like, hold on, how about I listen to myself? Just, and it's almost, what's coming to mind is sort of thinking, if I was meeting my sister for the first time, how would I interact? It's an interesting thought. I'm going to write that down. Because if I think, when you first meet someone, it's like last night I ran into a guy that I used to work with like 20 years ago. And I was just like really excited to see him, to say, hey, what have you been doing since we worked together? And, we had a couple of chuckles about, the old times. And then another guy turned out, because I was at one of our local community bars, and I actually hired him the same time as I was working with this other guy. And, we were having a bit of a giggle about old times and, all the rest of it, and the things that you did then at the workplace that you wouldn't do now, and that. And it's like, if I was to interact with my sister like that this weekend, wouldn't that be an amazing conversation? Like meeting her for the first time. There's no judgment. It's I'm curious to get to know you. What's going on in your life? How's things?
Yeah.
Then there's no judgment because there's no right or wrong. It's just whatever's going on is going on.
Yeah. I have this this just came to me, this visual of it. So kind of keep in mind what you just said right there. So that meeting her for the first time, this is all that's happening.
Yeah.
Versus what your previous experience has looked like, where, yeah, I knew she was going to be like that. Oh, I knew she was going to do that. I knew she was going to say that. I knew they were going to this conversation was going this way. Like, you've already got the checkbox already, and they don't even have an opportunity to get out of this, get out of it.
Yeah. And it's almost like, you know, when we're reaching out to people, we're talking to people about our coaching, not attaching any outcomes to it. It's like, hey, we're just going to have a fabulous conversation. Where the outcome goes could be many different things and stuff like that, because we come into it in that empty, as an empty vessel.
Yeah.
I like that. It's the question instead of the tick. Because the tick's like even got hard edges, whereas the question mark's like nice and round and curly and soft and like a wave.
It's flexible. It's, you have an opportunity now to just be a sponge and soak in. Versus, oh, I'm looking for that. I'm waiting for her to say it. Oh, she said it. I knew it was coming.
Like here
that
we
train
go
is never
again.
late. Yeah, that train is never late.
Yeah. And it's almost like, you know, because a lot of our conversations, I feel like sometimes she's looking for me to either validate something that's going on with her or what she thinks, or to even react, and for her to validate that I've reacted, and, you know, looking for the tick. Whereas when I'm just in that question, it's just lighter. And, you know, it's like you know, it's funny, you know, when you see people that are really angry at the supermarket, and, you know, they're mean to the checkout lady and everything else, and then everybody else gets angry because they're angry and all the rest of it. And I've seen it a couple of times, you know, people, and I, you know, I almost want to go up and give them a hug and say, mate, you know, it's not that bad. You know, it's not the person getting angry at the checkout lady. It's they've got shit going on in their life, and it just, the poor checkout lady was the last person that ended up copping it. And it's like, it's the same thing, you know. I'm not going to be that last person in the line at the checkout where my sister blows up in my face and everything else. And just to remember that we've all got stuff going on in the background. And sometimes when people are reacting, it's not personal. You know, people have their own insecurities and stuff. But if I come from that loving approach or empty approach, whether it's love or whatever, doesn't matter, because it's almost, if I say I've got to come from a loving approach, it's like, damn, tick, I've got to do that and I've got to do this. It's like, if I just be empty, see where it goes. And you know what, even if the interaction's shit, I'm not going to put a tick by it. It's just like, oh well, we are not ready for, you know, playing happy families still. It's okay. I've got a goddamn second wedding to go to in February, and it's drama. Okay? We're not even going to go there. I keep telling the rest of the family, because, you know, it's really expensive to fly into where she lives, and, you know, we're going to get accommodation and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh my God, this is such a lot of money for a fucking second marriage to a guy none of us likes, and blah, blah, blah. And I keep saying to everybody, well, we're going to be in town for 5 days. It's a family holiday, and we just happen to be going to a wedding. So the purpose of going to Nelson is it's a family holiday. And that's just an hour of our time going to this wedding. And you know what? We can have a great time at it, you know. And it's almost that same thing. That trip is like the question mark, just going and having fun and being with my children and, you know, my cousins and things like that. It's not the tick. It's not the, oh my God, she's caused us to spend a whole lot of money that we didn't really want to do, you know. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. And brings me back to something you said about your dad, like he raised these strong women. Well, what if your
Mm.
biggest strength is simply love?
Yeah, yeah,
What would be possible if that was the way you choose to create these relationships instead of the reaction?
yeah. Because the reaction doesn't serve anybody. And, it's act on something, not react. So it's that conscious choice to be whatever I'm going to be. Because, look, my dad's ex-military, so we grew up in a very, my mother, my God, that's that's a conversation for like a whole other 6 hours. There's issues there. But, they were polar opposites, in how they raised us. So here comes the cat.
That's right.
He's always got to come and join the
Making a
conversation.
guest appearance, yeah.
Yeah. Whereas he was very regimented, very, if you're going to do
Structured.
something, yeah, you do it well, otherwise don't bother at all, and
Yeah.
blah blah. And it was funny, because Dad's obviously softened as we get older, and he and I actually ended up working together at one stage on a project together. It was so funny how it aligned, because my dad lives like 4 hours drive away from me. I'm in Taranaki. He's always been oil and gas. I've been dairy industry. He left oil and gas, went into the dairy industry, Borleman and all the rest of it. And when he retired, he was just doing project work, like he was like the safety watch sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I got an opportunity to work on a project up in the Waikato where he lives. And they said, oh, it's at, the site. I'm like, oh, my dad does work, on some projects there as well, and thought nothing of it. And I rang my dad up. I said, hey, can I come and stay with you guys for about 10 months while I'm on this project, just during the week, and I'm going to come home on the weekends? They're like, yeah, sweet as. And we were talking, and as it got closer, I said to him, what are you doing? And he says, oh, I'm working on this project. I'm like, oh, yeah, it's all cool. And I turn up in his house on a Sunday afternoon, ready to start work on the Monday.
Yeah.
And I said, what's the project you're actually working on, Dad? And he said the name. I'm like, oh my God, Dad, we're working on the same bloody project. I said, this is going to we didn't realise, because we rock up to work, and everyone's introducing, oh, here's Tara, because at that stage I went by my married name because I was still going through my divorce. So because we had last names, so people didn't make that connection to start with, that we were father-daughter. And we would be at meetings, and it was just beautiful to work with my dad. And like, we got a photo one day of the two of us in the control room, of the plant. And like, I look at that photo all the time, because like I could see the happiness and pride in his face. Here he was working with his baby, sort of thing. But it was really funny, I'd always be in meetings and I'd be like, oh, I'll get Dad to do it. I'll get Dad to do it. Because, I've called him Dad for 50 years, for God's sake. It's hard to call him King. And yeah, the site maintenance manager said to me, he goes, why? He goes, I'm sure you're referring to Keith. I'm like, yeah. And he goes, why do you call him Dad? I'm like, because he is my dad. He goes, is he really? I'm like, yeah, you think I just call old guys Dad?
Yeah.
Maybe you did. It was like a term of endearment. And it was just funny. So, and it was like, Dad and I, we had some bridges to mend. And us actually working and living together, like we have a great relationship in the last 10 years anyway.
Yeah.
But us spending so much time together, man, it was just like, we're tight. There's nothing that could pull us apart again, at all. Well, I don't think so anyway. Not unless I like ran his wife over or something, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, no matter what happens in your past, it can always be fixed, and it can always come back together, and you can just let shit go. Like I don't even think about the stuff, because Dad was hard on us growing up, really hard. But I don't even worry about it now. It's like, that's just what he knew. So
Yeah.
with my sister, that's just what she knows. So let it go. She's good.
Yeah. What do you see impossible with that, with this relationship with your sister? Like any similarities between, what you just expressed with me with how things have mended with your father? What opportunities you see with your sister?
Well, I tell you what I'm actually thinking, because she's very much going for big walks and everything else, and I like going walking, but you know, it's like when we go for a walk, again, we're in a competition. Who's can be fastest going further?
Who's gonna
You know?
walk the
Yeah.
fastest?
But I'm thinking, you know, if the weather does actually turn out a bit nicer while she's here this week, well, I'm assuming that her plane got in last night. I don't know. I haven't checked Facebook yet. I'm going to say, let's go for a walk, and I'm going to let her kick my ass if that's what she wants to do. If she wants to go racing ahead, I'm just going to just chat and chill and let her know that it's okay to slow it down, and it's okay, you know, and just go hang out and actually treat her as if I'm meeting her for the first time, and I'm going to interact with her how we even interacted on the first time meeting, you know, just open, just chatting, two humans, just sharing some space together, and no agenda. Yeah, because I look at like all the people that I've met through the ICC, you know, we have connect calls or we're coaching and whatever, and I don't know, I just feel there's no agenda with it, you know. It's like we just show up, we're just people having a conversation, and I come away from every single one of them feeling amazing, no matter what's being talked about and stuff, because it's that just good two humans doing their thing. Yeah. So I'm going to do that with him. Yeah. And it's like, take the goddamn walk. Give her a hug. And it's funny, I'll take her for a bloody walk, even if it's raining, actually. I'll say, come on, let's get out in the storm. Let's just wash it all away. Yeah. No, I like that.
Yeah. I can see the wheels turning up here, like a lot of insights for you right now.
Yeah, it just feels light. It's like, it's almost like the biggest insight I'm having is, you know, like I say, you know, we've got so many similarities with different things. And I even said to like Bobby and them yesterday on the call, when you get that similar thought showing up 3 or 4 times in a very short period, you know, like even over like a week or a few days, that's like the universe just saying, hey, I'm over here. Hey, I'm still over here. Hey, are you listening yet? You know? And like, this is the same thing. It's like, we talk about it in our coaching. I talk about it at work, you know, even when I'm coaching people, just let it go. You know, it's liberating, and just be open to what happens. And, you know, even if it goes completely tits up with you for the weekend, which I doubt it will, at least I tried, and I'll just send her some love anyway. Yeah, but it's like, take the tools that we've got for all the parts of our life, because it's all the same thing. It's all interactions, and we can choose. And I like that, just so simple. Choose the tick, choose the nice soft question mark, because a question mark's open, whereas a tick's like heart. It's, you know, you're making something solid that doesn't need to be solid. And if nothing else, go stand in the rain, just wash it off. Like I'm listening to the rain now. I realised I forgot to put my headset on.
It's fine. I can hear you fine.
Yeah, she might hear my rain as well, because the door's open for the cat to come in.
Yeah.
It's a great way to start my day.
Yeah. What else do you see possible with this type of energy, right? Of this mindset, your lens of the world, of creating yourself to be open, be curious with people. You know, how does it affect your coaching? How does it affect all these different relationships in your life?
It just affects everything, because it's funny, because this is exactly what Bobby and I were talking about at the end of our call yesterday. It's like, I don't have, you know, we often say, oh, you know, who do we want to be? Where do we want to get to with our business? And, you know, my future self, I've always said, is like this really confident, you know, just happy person, and good shit happens. And even when the bad shit happens, it doesn't matter. It's good shit in disguise, you know, and life is good. And it's like, you know what? I'm her now. That's not me. me. I'm here now, I've built this amazing home. I've got this amazing job. I've got, a great coaching business that, it's just starting out, but I'm getting to, do what I wanted my future to be, was to have this positive impact on the world, or at least to have an impact, and just put good energy out there. And it's like, well, hold on. So how am I waiting for? Am I waiting for someone to come in and give me the permission to say, actually, that's what you are doing? Yeah. It's like I can give myself permission to be that. And it's like, it's almost like I'm seeing a picture in my head of, it's like the shackles go, and all the different people that maybe I feel like a little bit crunchy with, it just completely lets it go. There is no tie. There's no like energy field between us or anything, because it's only there because I'm holding on to it. Let it go. It's like a balloon, and just let it bloody be free. We've got enough wind here in Taranaki at the moment. I can blow a whole lot of stuff away just by letting it go. Just be that person. I am that person now. There's a lot of stuff going on right here. It's like, man, it's interesting. My accountability I gave myself for the team yesterday is, I realized what is the one thing, what can I take out of, the insights that I was having yesterday? And it's like very similar here. Is, these conversations are like just amazing, because it allows me to get the stuff out, hear it, and know, oh my God, it's not such a big deal, move on. And I sort of realized, I need to journal more, because journaling helps me release that stuff. And then it's like, even I think the tone of how I just said that, it's like, I need to journal more.
I need to.
I need to, but then I said to him, what came up yesterday, and it's coming up now, and it's probably because I got my journal in front of me, is that when the children were growing up, my husband and I, we were both working, and, life was busy when you got kids and this, But one of the things that we used to do, and it was funny, it just happened by default, is we would have what I call our kitchen chats. We'd either be cooking dinner or cleaning up after dinner, or we'd be making a cuppa because someone's come around. Our kitchen at our home was always like the central point, never the lounge, like the lounge you would use. But we'd always congregate in the kitchen, and it was our place where we'd just chat and we'd talk about stuff and what was going on, or good shit, or we'd have a laugh about something stupid that someone's doing, or, just whatever.
Right.
And it's like, when I divorced, not only did I lose the person that would do all the vacuuming all the time, I lost the kitchen chat, So I made the commitment to myself yesterday, is that for the next 30 days, I'm not going to think about, oh my God, I need to journal. It's like, I'm going to have a kitchen chat. And it could be with my cat, it could be ring my girlfriend, or it could be with myself. But I'm just going to journal it for the next 30 days. What's coming up? What am I releasing? What am I celebrating? And getting into that habit, because it's sometimes I do need to remind myself that life is actually good, and don't worry about it. Don't worry about the stuff. It's not a big deal. It's like they say, count the blessings, because my problems are something that someone would love to have, because they're not that big a deal. Yeah. So it's like this conversation is almost reinforcing that, is to, I'm going to put question marks. Am I being the question mark today on my next I'm going to put a question mark, because then that's going to be a really good prompt to remind me. Do that right now for tomorrow as well. Yeah. Oh, that's really cool. It's almost like, look at everybody who I'm interacting with today, because I'm going to be so annoyingly just positive. They're probably lucky it's a work from home day today for me. But I've got a client call in about 3 hours, so that'll be good. She'll get the benefit of this, but then I've got this massive report to write for work, so I reckon I'm going to write that so quickly today. Yeah.
You see how that ripples over, right? This is the the gift of creation that we have.
Yeah.
And I don't know what your faith is, but me, I believe in God, believe master creator, and
Yeah.
us being made in that image. Well, we have creativity in our DNA. That's
Mm.
our greatest gift to the world. That's why
Yeah.
he made us this way. Why didn't he
Yeah.
make lions with the gift to have thoughts or anything like that? Gave it to us
Mm.
humans. So
Yeah.
it's we have dominion over everything.
Yeah.
And with that responsibility comes that space of, well, do we allow reactions? And react is a really interesting word because it's a repeat of an action, right? I liken
Mm.
it to this. I was working with a client and he was running over these same stories in his head of like, this was happening to my family, this was happening at work, this and that. Like, he's just going on and on. I'm like, your mind right now is like a movie theater. You're in the seat and all you're doing is hit and rewind. The reason
Yeah.
why why you press play is for the present, for the movie to
Yes.
keep going. If you keep
Yeah.
hitting rewind, you're just reacting. It's the
Oh,
same act over and over and over.
yeah. Yeah. And it's just getting out of that, don't push the fast forward, don't push a rewind.
Yeah,
As they say, that's why the word present, as in present day, every day is a gift.
yeah,
How are we going to use this gift today?
yeah.
Mm,
And you
yeah.
get to play in it, like that press play button. We just get to play,
Yeah.
be in this experience, and what
Oh,
happens happens.
yeah. I like that. That's a good way to look at it because it's even like the word press play. Play, that's fun. That's happiness. That's joy.
Yeah,
That's whatever.
that's how
Yeah.
we were created.
Mm,
It's not until we start getting this thing in our head called a conscious or self-conscious that it's like, oh, well,
mm,
that's not fun. Oh, I'm in competition with her now. Oh, she's
yeah.
getting this and I have this. I have to get that because she has this. And
Yeah. Yeah. Just push play. Just keep going. What's the movie I want to watch?
yeah,
Because I love watching movies. I'm a real movie girl. So as soon as you're lining anything to like movies and stuff, it's like, yeah, I
yeah,
love that. Because it is. It's like, what's the movie of our life going to be? You know, the romantic comedy, the action and adventure, or is it the horror? Is it
yeah. The
yeah.
drama.
Oh God, yeah, I don't even watch drama movies. Maybe there's a reason for it.
Well, you have a new
I'm
genre. You have the curious.
yes,
You have the
yeah,
question mark.
yeah, yeah.
Maybe that's more like suspense or something like that. I don't know, but
Yeah. Oh, I love suspense. I love the whodunit, trying to figure stuff out.
yeah,
And then like I'm a Marvel movie buff. I love Marvel movies.
yeah,
But then it's like, you get some of the later ones and like, nah, it's too predictable, man. I don't like predictable. I like to be, just thinking, oh my God, look what's happened. And
yeah,
yeah, yeah. But being into Marvel movies means I get to have date night with my grandson because he loves Marvel as well.
there you go.
Yeah. And, what are we, 45, 40 something years apart, and we can still come together. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter your demographic, your age, your choices in life. There's still something that brings you together.
Yeah.
Mm, mm,
And part of that is the curiosity. You both are
mm,
curious what's going to happen in this movie and you connect into his world. It's not about you.
mm. Yeah.
You're a part of
Mm.
it. Yeah, you're involved, but it's no different from my kids. They want to watch some kiddie movie. I don't want to watch it, but you know what? That's what they're into. All right, let's
Yeah.
see what's going on in their world, and we wind up
Yeah.
having a great time.
Yeah. And that's the thing, even if it is like, oh my God, do I really have to watch the Minions again, for the most month time? But their faces are just so bright and just so in the moment. And children are such a lesson to us, eh? It's that curiosity, it's that questioning. And they can flip on a dime. They can flip to anger, but then they flip back again, because it's just frustration that they can't get out. So, yeah. But they don't hold the grudge. You can tell your child off, or like for me, my grandchildren, I can say, oh no, don't do that, or
Yeah.
blah blah blah. And then 5 minutes later, you're playing the board game together or you're colouring in together and the drama's left behind. Well, there was no drama. It was like the situation, dealt with it, move on. Yeah. It's like, man, we could learn a lot from children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
So, that's great.
Yeah.
Mm.
What are you seeing for yourself right now?
I'm just feeling really nice and calm, you know, and it's just in a really bizarre way, almost feeling quite empty of thought, because it's like, you know, it's just been bouncing around, and it's just like, I'm feeling very peaceful, actually, to be honest. It's like, God damn it, where's all my thoughts gone from my head? It's like a friend that's like just walked out, you know, halfway through, you know, Wine Wednesday. But it's funny, actually, outside's gone calm as well. The wind's obviously, maybe we're sitting in the eye of the storm at the moment because I can't hear the rain and wind, even though the door's open. Yeah. Like, thanks. Yeah. We've all just aligned together really well.
Could be at the eye of this storm of curiosity you're going to brew up and stir up and express into the world today, and then however long you choose to after that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm just going to expand this stormy calm out. No. It's almost like I'm thinking, because what's the time now? 6:15. You know, I've got an hour and a half before I even need to consider starting work for the day and, you know, getting into things. And it's like, you know, I might just make a cup of tea and go sit out in my spa pool, you know, because that's what you do at 6:30 in the morning on a Friday morning and pitch black and and just, I don't know, just enjoy the moment. Yeah.
You know, honestly, I think we're there. I think we're at a solid place of completion.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely thinking so because, yeah, I've written a couple of notes for myself, you know, how would I interact with anyone or anything? Be that child, be that curiosity. And for the first time, I'm seeing this or seeing this person or doing this thing. So then there's no rewind going on. Doesn't matter what I do it for the first time every single time. Bring that energy into it, that curiosity into it. Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see how quickly I write this report up today. Because it's a big process engineering one. And I've got to sort of watch my wording on it, you know, for the acronyms and engineering terms.
Yeah.
So I'll have a little dictionary out for it. But it's like, be a piece of piss. Yeah, easy. I'm prepared. It's like I'm feeling I'm prepared for anything. Doesn't matter what shows up.
That's right.
Yeah. Oh, well, good. That's good.